Hello, my YouTube family. Once again, I'm back and I'm really grateful to be back. The throat is trying to close up on me a little bit, but we're going to try to make it through. Tonight is going to be a repeat. Uh, I've done the book already, I've talked about it already, but because I'm in the request, they're saying to do it again, to do it all over again. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. Okay, again, it's going to be about this book, The African American Woman. She is a thing of beauty. And let me say from the very get go, this is not racial. Nothing about this is racial. It's just that what I want to do is to, this program is really geared more toward. Now, any of you are willing to stay to watch and to listen, but the book is really about our Afro-American women. I really want to let them know where they've come from. And those of you that don't remember that it was too young, I just want you to know some of the things that Afro-American women have had to go through. Many of you know that the Afro-American woman, the African American people was brought over from Africa as slaves. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to encourage our Afro-American women and let them know how beautiful they are and how proud I am to be a part of them and to have them to be a part of me. So I just wanted to talk tonight a little bit about some of the book, and I just want to just bring you up to date. And I hope I can do this in a non-defensive way or offensive. I'm just trying to just make sure that our Afro-American women can feel good about themselves. When we first came over, we came over on a ship. The reason was not good. To my knowledge, I think we are about the only race of people that was brought to this country against our will. Most of everybody else came for a better life, but we came to be slaves so the man could have workers that was working for nothing, working for him without him having to pay. And so we was brought over on ship, stacked together like sardines. Many folks died. Some have been known to jump overboard, coming over on the boat. So it's just been a lot of bad things. And again, I don't want to make you angry. I don't want you to leave here with mad, I'm going out and I'm going to fight and all this kind of stuff. I just want you to be proud of what God has done for our race. And it has been a thing of beauty, a thing of wonder. When the slaves first came over, a lot of them was called what we say, it was called like niggers. But really and truly, they wasn't trying to say that we was niggers, but it was the southern whites, and their accent was different. So they were trying to say Negroes, but it was just niggers. And that offended a whole lot of people, and it still do to this day. But our sisters, our women, I want you to know that you are a thing of beauty. Matter of fact is, you are really the envy of most of the world, or a lot of the world. People in other countries they're trying to copy you. They're trying to get like you. They're laying in the sun, trying to get the color that you are. They are getting lip implants because most of the Afro-American women have full lips. There are some races that don't have much lips at all. And not only lips, but they're just trying to get like you. They're trying to get your shape. They're trying to walk like you. They're trying to talk like you. And they're trying everything that they can. And this ought to be inspiring. This ought to be encouraging to you, because you are the talk of a whole lot of the world. And I just want you to know that I'm proud of that brown skin you got. I'm proud of that dark skin that you got. I'm proud of that light skin that you have, because it's all has been a blessing from God. Really and truly, I'm coming over here. Now, I know a lot of you going to disagree with this, but it was a blessing from God, because where we have come from and where we have come to is a great, great, great thing. And I just want you to really understand that. I want you to know that. I want you to feel good about yourself. This book that I wrote, I took it, I gave it to my banker. And when she came back, when I went back to see her, she was so enthused. She said, "Oh, this is the greatest book that I've ever read." She said, "Everybody needs to read this book." And so she was just inspired, just keep on teaching. And then I've heard other folks say, "Hey, repeat that program again. Tell us some more about it." And I'm really glad to do that. You know, when we came over here as slaves, we had no hope. I mean, we just had no hope that anything good was going to come out of us being in this country. And what the black people did, especially the black women, they had little sayings to encourage your kids. Like one of them was really cute, and they were sung. They would be sung. Uh, the master would get out on Sunday mornings, and he would put on his cape and get on his buggy, and he would go to church. But the blacks couldn't do that. They had to stay back on the plantation. And so the kids would ask Mama, "Mama, why does Master so and so have a robe or a cape on, and we don't have any?" So the way she would encourage her children, she would do it through song. She'd say, "Listen, baby," she'd say, "I got a robe, you got a robe. All of God's children got a robe. But when we get to heaven, we're going to put on our robe and we're going to shout all over God's heaven." And then the kids walking around with no shoes, and Master got his shiny shoes on the way to church again. And they would ask the same thing: "How come the Master got shoes and we don't have shoes?" And the mother would say, "Listen, baby," she said, "I got shoes, you got shoes. All of God's children got shoes. But when we get to heaven, we're going to put on our shoes and we're going to walk and shout all over God's heaven." That was the hope. But you know what? What they didn't realize is that God was going to bless them. They too, on this earth, was going to be somebody. They on this earth was going to have shoes and robes, and they was going. They on this side would be able to go to heaven. I mean, go to church and talk about heaven. So it's really a beautiful thing. But you know, when you really look at it, in this book that I showed you guys, chapter 2 is very interesting, because what I did in chapter 2, I talked about recipes. Now, I want you all to watch this real carefully, especially you young folk. So, see, y'all don't realize where you've come from. But I'm telling you, your parents have really had to go through some things for you to be who and where you are now. When the master would kill a hog, he would take the pork chops and the hams and whatever other part of the hog was considered good meat. But then he would take the guts and the feet and the tail and all of the organs, and he would pour them in a tub, and he would send them up to the slaves' quarters for them to eat. And now watch this. Now you say, "Ooh, that was nasty. That was bad." But listen, you Afro-American women, I want you to know what your foreparents did. That mother would look in that tub and see all those guts, livers, and kidneys, and heads, and tails, and ears, and all of that. And she would look at her kids. She said, "My kids got to eat." So that mother found a way to take that slop to make meals out of it. She found out that she would take the intestines and they would squeeze all the poopy out of them. She would take scissors and cut them open, and she would wash them, and she would put them in a pot, and she would boil them. And that's what the folks ate. She would take the feet, take the nails off, wash the feet, boil the feet, and that was a part of the meal. She would take the liver, and, and she would make a meal out of it. Now the fact is, in this second chapter, I got pictures of the recipes that are some of the recipes that she would make, and I'm gonna tell you something. It got to be so good. She got to be so good at it until she could take anything. She could take the whole head and she would boil it until it get tender, and then she would make what they call hog head cheese out of it. It'd just be gel, but it was good. And so she fed her family. God was giving her knowledge of how to take what was meant for bad to make good out of it. So I want you to know, I want you to be proud. I want you to be proud of your foreparents and where you've come from. But it got to be so good until the slave master would come up to the slave's house, and he said, "What is this that you guys are cooking up here? It smells so good." And matter of fact, he said, "I tell you what." And she was saying that, "Listen, this is all we had, so I, the mother, had make a meal out of it." He said, "Listen, I want you to come down to my house. I want you to be my maid. I want you to live in my house. I want you to be my cook, because this is smelling so good." And she did. But what are you getting out of this? God can take what's meant for bad and make good out of it. The woman became a great cook, just fixing slop, what was called slop. And like I say, the recipes are in here, and some of the recipes are still in force. And like, I'll let you read it, and it'll tell you all about what it is and how the mother took it and made something out of it. I want us to really be proud, because I want you to see where we've come from. You know, next time you look at the Olympics, especially the United States side of it, their athletes, and I want you to see how many Black women are in first place on track. Most of the time, Black women would outrun the whole world. And it's because God had blessed her. God had given her a gift. Look at the gymnastics. Just look at the basketball teams and just about everything. It just filled up now with what used to be something that you couldn't do. Filled up with the Blacks, the Afro-American women. And so just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on working on it, because God is using you. God is using you and making the whole world envy of you in most cases. I'm not trying to cut any other race down, because everybody got some beauty in their race. But right now, this has nothing to do with racism. Right now, I'm just wanting to encourage especially our young Black women to realize where they've come from and where they have come to, what they have come to become. So that's my main purpose. That's my main purpose tonight. I won't be real long before you, but I just wanted to let you know to feel good about yourselves. Feel good about yourselves. You know, we have been laughed at, we have been talked about, we have been put down as a race. They say we got nappy hair. But no, we don't. I went to barber school, and one of the things that we learned in barber school was there's only three types of hair: curly, wavy, and straight. In all of the world, it's got one of them. And Afro-American woman, you don't have nappy hair, you have curly hair. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people in other parts of the world, they're trying to get their hair to be just like yours. So I want you to walk upright. I want you to feel good. And I want you to know that you are somebody. Because I'm going to tell you, I love what I see. I like those pretty eyes and those full lips and that full shape. Mm-hmm. People are actually getting operations trying to get what you got natural. And that's a fact. So be proud of who you are. Next time you look in the mirror, I want you to see something beautiful. I want you to see something wonderful. Okay? So, let's see, is there anything else I need to talk about? Oh, yes. And there's one chapter in the book. Some of you probably have heard of Sojourner Truth. I think she's the one. She was a slave that had escaped, but she was come back to the South to lead other blacks to freedom, bringing them to the North. And but one of the chapters here, I don't know where I got it from. I'm sure I know I had to get it from somebody because I didn't know it. But there's a letter that she wrote, and it was so cute because the letter is in the language or the way she talked. She couldn't say certain words like we know them now. But I always challenge people. I always tell them, I said, listen, take this book, turn to such and such a page, and I want you to read that letter. And it's words like that. Ain't I a woman? I got feelings. And it's just that type of thing. But it's interesting to read it. You can see what they had to go through. Unlearn, no schooling from over here. But they had to learn. So they couldn't say words like other folks said words. And so, but they just, what they talk, they could understand one another. Okay. All right. So I hope this is what you was looking for. I hope that you can take the book. Please buy the book. I'm telling you, you guys, you won't be disappointed. I guarantee you that the book has so much in it. And like my banker said, she said, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to finish that book. And she said, don't tell nothing about it. I want to read about it because this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So you've come from a long way. Just keep going the way you go. And I want you to know that, yes, heaven is our hope, but God has blessed so we can have heaven right here on earth. We are somebody. Okay, I'm gonna close with this. When I was about 16, I lived way down in Alabama, a little small town, 10 miles from Florida line. But the whole city was owned by like a family. And so my aunt worked for one of the families that owned the Firestone store. And I was 16 and they had a son that was 15. And me and him, every Christmas, his father would hire me to come down and work in the Firestone store with his son. We would put tricycles and bicycles and wagons together. And me and him really became real good friends. I mean, we really become real good friends. Now, they had a station wagon. Now, back in those days, the station wagons that This, it was like a three-seater, but the seat that's farthest in the back was turned towards the back of the car. So you would ride backwards. So we would be down there, and it was time to go to lunch. And so the father would tell me, "Come on, you going to lunch with us?" Well, that was a no-no back in those days. You did not eat at the same table with the whites. If you did go, if you did work there, if you did eat any place, you had a little place on the side that you had to go eat. But on the way home, his son and me got into a conversation that I still remember today, and that's been well over 50 years ago. And he asked me, he called me Pat. He said, "Pat, I want to ask you a question." He says, I didn't have that. He said, okay, he said, why do the colored people, that's what they call us in those days, why do the colored people hate to be called boys? So I said, well, the thing is, the reason we hate to be called boys, because it's in a racial tone. You're saying that we will always be boys. We will never grow up to be a man. And he said, oh, okay, I've always wondered about that. I said, okay, then I got to ask you a question. I said, I want to ask you a question. I say, Sonny, I say, why is it that when the white boys jump on the black boys, it has to be a whole gang of them? And he said something that really threw me, it really blew me away. He was so serious. He said, oh, he said, the reason we do that is, he said, because you see, you guys are not all humans. You are half animal and half human. And so you was made to work. So you're stronger than we are. I said, whoa, I never heard it like that. But he was serious. That's what he had been taught. That's what he heard. And I said, boy, this is something. So anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed bringing it to you. So you enjoy the rest of your evening. And Lord willing, this is Friday, so I'll come back Monday. We'll meet you back Monday at 6 o'clock. Not Central Time, Eastern Time. Okay? All right. Have a good one. Later.